Hi everybody, it's me, Greg. Thanks for joining me today. It's really nice to be with you as always, and I'm going to be answering your questions today. So I'm going to get straight into it, and thank you to everyone who's asked a question on the Facebook page, either by just commenting on the post or by adding the hashtag talktogregory in your comment. Okay, so Uma says she really appreciates me, so thank you, Uma. I appreciate you too. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for being part of this with me, because without you I wouldn't be able to do this. So I appreciate you too. Thank you very much. Jessica Walding says, what role does the ascendant play if it's square the sun sign? Okay, that's a good question. The ascendant plays a role regardless if it's square or not, and the role the ascendant plays, first of all, it's what you're like without thinking about it. So if you're reacting from a gut level, if you're instinctively reacting to something, that's what you're like via the ascendant. So it's a very core part of who you are. The sun is what you're striving towards. It's what you're trying to achieve in this lifetime. It's how you're trying to develop. So if the sun and ascendant are square, it creates more energy between the two. A square is a wonderful aspect. It's 90 degrees, two things 90 degrees apart in the circular chart, and it creates tension and it creates real motivation and energy. Now, the ascendant is what I'm like without even trying. The sun is what I'm trying to be like. If there's a square between those two, there's going to be a real focus for you to create yourself the way you want to be. You're going to be motivated to transform yourself. So this is someone who's really on a journey, on a path, someone who's really got a lot of motivation to be something better than they are today, someone who's really striving to become their greatest self. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people just come here and are comfortable with the way they are. Right, Milika says, I would like to hear you discuss more relocation astrology in general, but specifically about the effect of a changing ascendant sign. Okay, relocation astrology is important. Your natal chart is a snapshot of the heavens, okay? So that's where you were when you were born. That never changes. Relocation astrology is if you're moving house or things like that. I take that into account when I'm looking at your progress chart, so speeding up your natal chart. When I look at your transits, so what's happening in the actual sky for you at that moment. So for instance, if you were born in Berlin and now you live in New York, if I'm looking at your astrology for 2015, I'm going to look at what's happening in the sky in New York, not in Berlin. Okay? The ascendant sign is going to change anyway. The ascendant changes all the time. So whether you're relocating or not, the ascendant is going to alter and is going to be different. And the effect of a changing ascendant is you see yourself differently in different guises and different times. You know, sometimes you may see yourself as an organizer, sometimes you may see yourself as passionate. You know, we're not boxers, we don't just have four sides, we've got lots of different traits and characteristics, and that's the effect of the changing ascendant sign. Okay, Fernando says, what role does your moon and ascendant sign have, as well as your sun sign in comparison? Right, I've just been mentioning that. The ascendant is really what you're like without thinking about it. The sun is what you're trying to get to, and the moon is really what feels very comfortable and what you're at ease with. They all make up this wonderful creation that you are. Okay. What is the best way, are the best ways to tune into your cosmic energy? Fernando says that as well. Alright, so this is important. Cosmic energy is there anyway. We're living in it, we're existing in it. If you look around this room, it's all cosmic energy. Where you are, cosmic energy. We live in an environment that's made up of cosmic energy. So if you're asking how to tune into that, it's just to get really still, clear, and to actually listen to it. A lot of things on planet Earth distract us. Alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, negative foods, anything that brings your vibration down, negativity in general, anger, resentment, all of those things. Detox from any of these blockages and you'll connect with that cosmic energy and you'll start to hear it clearer. If you sit somewhere and you can actually feel the kind of current going through the environment, then you've got it. If you feel totally like you're in a bubble and blocked off, you've got some more detoxing to do. Okay, Alicia says, hi Gregory, hello. Is Okay. Is this really going to be my year of more blessings? Better than last year. Life has been so hard. I'm sorry to hear that, Alicia. I'd love an easier year. P.S. Thank you. Okay, you're welcome. Right. To look at your situation specifically, I'd have to look at your either your astrology chart and see how you're going to be impacted, or do a tarot reading for you to see what's coming up for you. But overall, 2015 isn't going to be a doddle, okay? It's not going to be a walk in the park. 2015 reduces to the number 8 in numerology, and what that means is that it's a year about taking responsibility and owning your own power and shaping your life the way you want it to be. So it means engaging with things to make them better. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it means it's productive. Get in touch if you'd like me to look at your situation specifically. Okay, Kim, how do you know when to read a court card as an actual person? Okay, so this is the tarot question, versus an aspect of the person you are reading for. They can be confusing at times. Thank you. Right. Court cards are things like the page, the queen, the king, the knight, the princess in some decks. And you're right, Kim, sometimes you read them as a person and sometimes you read it as a characteristic. It can be confusing, and the reason it's confusing is because with those cards particularly, you have to listen to your intuition. Sometimes I'll see it as, like, let's say the King of Cups, I'll see that as you feeling serene and peaceful and getting over emotional things. And sometimes I see it as a man who's positive and helpful coming into your life. And the only way I can tell the difference is by listening to my intuition. So the important thing is to be aware of the meanings, and then to listen to your intuition when you're doing a reading to see which one's right. What do you know about triangle freckle patterns? This is from Benjamin Fish. Can you read palms? This is an interesting question. Triangle freckle patterns. Okay, so freckles in a triangle, moles in a triangle, whatever. The triangle formation I see as a confirmation that we live in a structured universe. And whenever I see a triangle like that, I just remember that all is well and things are the way they're meant to be. I do read palms, I can do. I offer palm readings on my website because I really believe it's accurate. I think that the way our bodies manifest is meaningful. So like the triangle, that has a meaning. The palms of your hand specifically are a reflection of what's going on in your mind. So your mind will kind of draw itself on your hands, and that's why palm reading works, because I can read what's going on with you and what your beliefs are, which really create your reality. And also your palms change as a result. So if you've had your palm read a year ago, it'll look different. The actual palm will look different than it was a year ago. Okay, Michelle. Hi Gregory, thanks for this opportunity. In numerology, what is the sum of the date of birth called? Okay, that's your life lesson number. And if mine adds up to 29, does that make me an 11 or a 2? It makes you an 11. You don't reduce 11s because it's a master number. And then what is the sum of the vowels in one's name? That's the soul number or inner personality number. And then the sum of the letters in one's name. Right, so the vowels are your soul number or inner personality number. The consonants are the outer personality number. And then combined, vowels and consonants are the path of destiny number. Do we need to know each, or does one control over the other? The most important is the life lesson number from your date of birth, but the other ones with your name are significant too. So I would say the life lesson number and the path of destiny number. Then for astrology, please explain what is meant by the sign on the cusp of the house. Okay, the chart is a wheel. It's split into 12 chunks, okay? And each chunk on the cusp has a sign on it, and it means that house is ruled by a sign. So if the sign on the cusp is Libra, that house is ruled by Libra. That's all that means. How can we determine what is based on our drawn chart? Right, you just look at your chart, you look at the wheel, and each one of the lines that intersects each of the houses, it'll have a symbol at the end, and you can see what that house is ruled by. Hi Gregory, this is Heather Rather. Hi Gregory, this month I would like to ask about Saturn-Mars squares. Is this a recipe for disaster or is there a solution? In recent weeks I've done some research and can't seem to locate a solution, and we all know that implanted in every problem is the seed of a solution. I agree with that, absolutely. I don't think Saturn-Mars is a disaster, I think it's intense. Saturn is about restriction, looking at things more specifically to overcome them and to challenge yourself. Mars is energy and I want what I want. Now, if you think about Mars, I want what I want, coming up against limitations, you can't have this, there's friction there because Mars says I want and Saturn says you can't have. So there's a lot of friction, and square in itself is an area of, is an aspect that creates friction between two planets. So it's not a disaster, but it's hugely challenging. And it means that you can totally blow things out of the water. If you've been in a relationship that no longer serves you, and you've been trying to challenge the status quo and leave, and you just haven't had the strength or courage to do so, Mars-Saturn will be the dynamite that you need to get out of that situation. If you're in a university situation where you're being restricted, this kind of energy can really help you break through those barriers. It's not a disaster at all, it represents a lot of energy. Okay, Andrea Bell. Hi Greg. When listening to your monthly forecast, should we listen to our rising and moon sign videos as well as our sun sign? They're designed for your sun sign, mainly, and for the ascendant, not the moon. So listen to it for the sun primarily, second rising, and not for the moon, that's different. And if we do, are we to listen to a different filter in mind because it's the ascendant and moon sign? I hope this makes sense. Yes, it does make sense. If you're a rising sign Libra, and if you're a sun sign Virgo, and that means you're naturally a Libra and you're trying to get to being more like a Virgo. Listen with the filter of Virgo, this is what I'm trying to get to, so this is the most important thing, and Libra, where I'm coming from. Also use the filter of where you see yourself along that spectrum. Are your characteristics mainly Libra or are they mainly Virgo? Because what the main characteristics you have and you identify with, that's the one you should listen to more specifically because it applies more. Kat Kennewell. Hi Greg, can you please explain the differences between the different Mercury retrogrades, as I believe where Mercury is positioned affects what kind of aspect of our lives we are affected by. Thanks. I agree with you. Mercury retrograde, Mercury is the communication planet. It was Hermes in mythology, so the little the kid who had the wings on his helmet and on his shoes, and he ran around delivering messages. Mercury represents that communication. So Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year, and when that happens, communication becomes stifled and becomes trickier. 12 houses in the chart, and Mercury is going to retrograde in one of those houses. So it's important, wherever he retrogrades in your chart is going to affect that specifically. So let's say my Mercury is in my 10th house of career. So it retrogrades, communication becomes more difficult. It's in the 10th house, so communication becomes more difficult specifically in the area of my career. And this is going to be different for everyone according to their natal chart, because you don't just look at the transits by themselves generally because it makes it too vague. You look at the natal chart and you look at how the transits affect you specifically. So I agree with you, it does have an impact where it is located in the chart. Okay, Brownie Pie. I am an April 6 born and things have been very rough since the age I have memories from. Okay. There has also been a huge amount of progress, but misery doesn't seem to end. Life doesn't seem to get any easier. Everything looks very uncertain from any perspective. Financial freedom is one of the crises that I don't know when I will get rid of. I love your readings, even though it's very generic and made for everyone. I still feel like your readings goes very well with me. You also know that since January 2015 things are not moving anywhere. I feel stuck. Can you please bring me some insights for 2015? Thank you. Talk to Gregory. Alright, so I don't know how old you are, but things have been very rough since you've got memories from, that may very well be, but in between those there would have been some good times as well. And if there has been a huge amount of progress, then misery does end at times, and I think what you're doing is you're thinking in absolutes. You're thinking in black and white, and that's what the ego does. The ego doesn't look at things from a balanced point of view. It looks at everything is wonderful or everything is terrible. Usually everything's terrible. So you're really identifying with the ego a lot, and a way to kind of get a more balanced view of your existence is to get in touch with your higher self. Now, I'm not minimizing your life circumstances. It could be that you've been homeless and ill and alone for 30 years. It could be, and things could be terrible for you, okay? But what I'm saying is that if you look at your circumstances and you determine your life according to your circumstances, we all have terrible lives. Well, not all of us, but nothing is ever perfect, and you've got to look at what's going on within rather than without to determine who you are. Because if I lose my money, it doesn't change who I am, it changes my circumstances. So it's very important to differentiate between the two. Okay? January 2000 and things, I mean, it's not that things haven't gone anywhere. I think it's been a challenging month, but things are moving. It's about progress. And the insights in terms of 2015, I would have to look at your chart specifically, what's coming up for you. And actually, I would like to look at your chart to see why you feel like things have been terrible for as long as you can remember. But it's like I said, 2015 is 8. It's about taking responsibility and changing your life for the way you want to be. So for you, this is really a perfect year because you can actually turn things around. Laura Andrade says, "Hi Gregory, I was born 20th of December 1985. I don't understand very well how numerology works. Could you tell me if this year will be finally easier for me based on my date of birth? Things have been very rough since 2011. Thank you very much for all you do." Okay, you're welcome. 1985 is 10, 18, and 3, 23, and 5. Okay, so your year of birth boils down to a 5, and that's about freedom. So you're always going to want to feel a sense of freedom and like you're achieving something. Again, 2015 with the number 8 is about taking responsibility and making your life the way you want it to be. So absolutely, this is a year where you're able to resolve some of the things that have been very rough since 2011. And it's a great year for all of us in terms of we're able to turn things around. It's going to be a very constructive year. If you'd like specifically to look at your date of birth and your month of birth and the year, and to look at all of that, like the life lesson number, the soul number, the life path, all of those things, then get in touch and we can look at that specifically. Amy Baird Waltermeyer says, "Same here. I just want to thank you for sharing your time." Oh, thank you, Amy. I really appreciate that. I enjoy doing them every day. Thank you. And then finally, Alba says, "I have a question, Greg. First, thank you for all you do. You're welcome. You appreciate it. Thank you. My question is about the tarot cards. Do you advise to have some sort of cloth before doing any readings?" No, you don't need cloth. You can. I do it because visually it looks better in the videos rather than doing it on a table or doing it on anywhere or on a bed or whatever. Because I like the colors, but energetically it makes no difference. I just like the backgrounds and I like the colors. How should tarot cards be stored when you're not using them? You can keep them in the boxes they're in. You can put them in little bags. You can just stack them. Doesn't matter. As long as you're not keeping them in a place where they'll get damaged, it really doesn't matter. Can anyone learn to read tarot cards? Yes. Yeah, anyone can. Well, anyone who's got the ability to look at images and get something from them, Yeah, anyone who can decode images can read tarot cards. Anyone. It's a great tool because it's easy and it's visual. So if you're a visual person, it'll be easier for you. But really, anyone who can decode some of the messages either via color or the pictures or the numbers. Anyone who's got the ability to get information from that and memorizing information initially can read cards. Or is it something you're born with? Absolutely not. I mean, you're born with your intuition. Everyone can tap into the intuition. That's what you're born with. But the tarot is just one tool to tap into the intuition. So you can learn to do tarot. For some people, it opens the intuition very well. For other people, it doesn't. I mean, for me, it works very well. That's why I use them. Other people prefer runes or prefer the I Ching or prefer other stuff. So it just depends what your personal preference is. We're all different. Please advise, okay, from the bottom. You're very welcome. Thank you for watching my videos, and I hope that's answered your question. So I hope that clarifies. Thank you for asking. And it's been a pleasure doing this for you as always, and thanks to everyone for subscribing, thanks to everyone for watching the videos. I'm glad you find them useful, and if you'd like a personal reading with me, just go to the website, it's gregoryscott.com, click on the readings tab and have a look at the types of readings I offer. I also offer a tarot course, so if you do want to learn the tarot for yourself, then click on gregoryscott.com/shop and look at the iTech, the Intuitive Tarot Expert course. It's only £17 and it's really been a success. People who've taken the course have started their own YouTube channels, and it's just a wonderful course that really breaks it down very simply, because I like to make things simple, that teaches you without a lot of jargon or rhetoric or whatever, and you're able to use them well once you're an expert at the end of that course. It's in video, so you can watch it anytime you want. Please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps the videos be found. You can email me as well. The address is readings@gregoryscott.co.uk. You can find me on Twitter. And I will be with you for the daily readings and the monthly astrology readings. Have a wonderful week, and I'll speak to you soon.